Let's talk about caffeine. What is caffeine? Well, it's a drug, and I don't consider myself a drug expert. Don't consider myself a drug noob either. I've done my fair share in my time. Um, I guess I can just record myself in this mirror. Pretty good way of doing it. So, caffeine. Generally, I'm a big fan of caffeine. My preferred method of caffeine intake is coffee, uh, and I've just had a very strong cup of coffee, which is why I'm making this video. That's the inspiration behind this whole thing. Uh, a lot of people who are really into coffee have like multiple cups of coffee through the day. They're like, oh, I love coffee. I need 4 or 5 cups of coffee during my day. But my preferred method of intake is just to make a ridiculously strong cup really early in the like when I wake up, and just fuck myself up. Just put way too much. It's like an espresso the size of a cappuccino. Is the way I have my coffee with no milk, just a little bit like a 1 teaspoon of sugar, and yeah, it wakes me the fuck up. And so my history with caffeine is quite interesting because I used to be like a back in what Americans would call middle school, I guess. I used to be an emo, right? And one thing about emos is that for some reason part of the emo culture is to drink a lot of Monster energy drink, right? They just love Monster. And so being an emo, I thought I'd better get on this trend. So I used to drink like 3 to 4 Monsters a day. It was really bad. I was definitely addicted to that stuff, and it gave me heart palpitations, which still haven't stopped, despite the fact that I stopped drinking that crazy amount of energy drinks every day. Uh, I now just permanently have heart palpitations, although could be linked to the fact that that was around the same time when my anxiety started showing up, and that could be what's giving me heart palpitations. I've been to the doctors about it. No one knows why it happens, like why it's happening to me, or if it's dangerous. They say it's probably fine. So I'm just gonna think like, it's probably okay. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. I used to drink loads and loads of Monster, and like way too much. And eventually I stopped because it was just fucking with me. It was making me really like nervous and on edge all the time, and had to piss all the time. It was not good, not good for your body. So I just completely cut out Monster. Had like a week of withdrawals where I just had headaches every day and shit. I didn't drink any caffeine because I didn't have time to make coffee or tea in the mornings before I went to school because I was generally I prefer to maximize sleep time rather than maximize the time I have to get ready. So when I was going to school, I would just like wake up half an hour before I needed to leave and just, well, I say wake up, I'd set my alarm for half an hour before I need to leave, and then I'd wake up like 15 minutes after that, and then I'd just quickly get in the shower, get dressed, and not have time for breakfast or coffee or anything. I'd just leave. Um, so, where was I going with this? Yeah, eventually I got back into coffee. Um, for a while I was drinking tea, which is good. I have nothing against tea. In fact, some days I have a cup of green tea to ease the crash from my morning coffee. And green tea is fucking great. I'm a big fan of green tea. But generally a big fan of all teas. I used to drink a lot of builder's tea, which I don't know if that's a term in America, but it's like uh, strong, cheap tea, like PG tips. I don't know if you guys have that over in America, but it's they call it builder's tea. I used to drink a lot of that, but gradually moved towards coffee, and then eventually just started having ridiculously strong coffee. Now, normally coffee as a drug, it's decent. It's a decent like light stimulant. The great thing about coffee is that a lot of drugs are like a commitment, right? So let's say you want to take acid. If it's good acid, you're gonna be tripping balls for 12 solid hours, right? Maybe 11 solid hours. You take speed, right? Take some amphetamine. That's gonna be affecting you for at least like 12 hours, not even counting the come down and the aftermath, right? Whereas caffeine, it only lasts for 4 to 6 hours, and generally the effects are pretty they're pretty weak. It's not like overwhelming at all. You can very easily drink a lot of caffeine and just get on with your life in day-to-day society, and no one will even notice, except when you drink too much caffeine and go on a rant about an internet personality and waifus, as I have done on this channel. But there's one thing that takes caffeine from like a 6.5 drug, 7 out of 10 drug, to like an 8.5 drug in my mind, and that is the added ingredient, which I happen to have over here. L-theanine. What is L-theanine? Well, it's these little capsules of powder. It's actually, I believe, an amino acid, and it is found naturally in many teas, specifically green tea. This is just another example of how green tea is just incredible and amazing for you, because it has L-theanine and 5-HTP in it, and a bunch of other good shit. But L-theanine is a great little amino acid, or I think it's an amino acid. It's a great little thing that essentially just cancels out all the negative effects of caffeine. So like you drink a ridiculously strong coffee like I just did, and you take one of these, and then you don't get the jitters. You just get the pure stimulant effects. And in fact, there's studies that showed that one study I think only, but there was a study that showed that caffeine plus the same amount of caffeine plus L-theanine actually increased focus and alertness compared to just caffeine alone, which is pretty interesting. So basically, it just, when you combine caffeine and L-theanine, it just has the perfect synergy and just makes caffeine into a god tier stimulant. It's not like distracting or overpowering. It's very much not it's completely not euphoric at all, but it's great for getting you awake in the morning and doing stuff. Yeah, L-theanine, would highly recommend it to anyone who likes to drink a lot of caffeine and enjoys wants to feel like you have a lot of energy, because I'm really, really not a morning person, like really not at all a morning person. I can't at all. Probably the least morning person that exists. By the way, when I say morning person, I currently am waking up at about 3:30 in the afternoon, so this is what my morning looks like. It's pitch black outside. Welcome to winter. Yeah, but morning as in, I'm not good when I wake up. It takes me a few hours to get to where I need to be in life to get my brain fully operational. So this caffeine and L-theanine combination really, really helps. It gives me that boost that I need, especially because I have generally zero motivation to do anything ever. So it's very helpful, because you can't not do anything. You can't just sit still. You'll feel wrong. It's pretty great. It's one of the best things that I found in my life. May as well go over my general morning stack as well while I'm here. So caffeine plus L-theanine is the base of my stack. Also, I take vitamin D, just one vitamin D, and not every day, but about 3 days a week. I also have a couple drops of CBD oil in the morning. That's my general stack. Oh, the other great thing about L-theanine is it's if you don't take it with caffeine, it's like an anxiety reducer thing. So if you have problems with anxiety, as I do, you can take it for that, which I have done. It's okay. It's not as effective as certain other things, but it's pretty good. I think the best use for it though is in combination with caffeine. Yeah. So the great thing about caffeine is that it's just not a commitment at all. Like if I was like trying to, if I've never tried modafinil. I really want to get some. But as I understand, like modafinil's, the fact that it's quite subtle, the fact that caffeine is quite subtle is kind of what makes it great. Because even when right now, I'm quite caffeinated, like pretty heavy. You can probably tell from my speech and behavior. I'm pretty caffeinated right now, but I feel like I could just there's nothing bad about this. I could just talk to someone in it's like the perfect stimulant. Makes you social, but doesn't make you, like if you take MDMA for example, yeah, you might be really stimulated, but you're also overwhelmed with dopamine, and you'll just say dumb shit that you don't mean. You're in love with everything. You want to hug everyone. It's a different kind of thing. Interesting. But yeah, caffeine doesn't have the same thing. You're just still you. You're just continuing your life. I think the only problem is that there's still a lot of anxiety. Even I mean, if you take too much, it just kind of is shit. Even with L-theanine, you still get low anxiety. And I keep drinking too much caffeine because I'm an idiot. So yeah, that's caffeine for you. You should drink more or don't. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Personally, I'm a big fan of caffeine. I think it's pretty great. Uh, so yeah, there you go.